hear the voice of reason.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tell It How It Is. I am your host, Voice of Reason. Thanks for joining me. Self-praise is a thing. So you may ask, why does he start off with the applause? Do he really have an audience? Does he not? What is that? Self-praise is a thing. I'm giving myself flowers and I'm giving y'all flowers. That round of applause is for me and for who's watching. That means you're alive in that moment and you should get a round of applause because it's hard out here. But that's it. Another thing I want to describe about my wardrobe, when I have faces on the shirts, this is Whitney. You know, when I be watching it back, their faces be altered because of the way I sit, my shirt, my posture, the size, the angle. So, you know, just to give you that, I want to give credit to the material I wear sometimes. Subscribe to the channel, Voice of Reason NF. You know what I'm saying? On YouTube, share, comment, like. Talk to me. Keep this thing going. Your comments appreciated. 1 comment or 1,000,000 comments. Let's go right in. What I really do. Let's start with the pet peeve first. Random. Yo, sundresses ain't gonna save everybody. This time in particular, I saw a back-to-back. Now, you know, throughout your day and your travels, if you see something that's off, you go, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are comfortable in their skin a little too much, and people do what they want. People dress how they want. It is what it is. We are in summer, right? But I saw a back-to-back, and it made me go, listen, ladies. There's a way to wear clothes. And I said this in another part about how men don't have this luxury. Women, there's a way to wear clothes that still make you look attractive. You can still pull it off, being sexy. You can still pull it off and get attention from men. When you jump off the deep end, oh Lord, you may get the attention you're looking for. So it's like, screw what I gotta say, right? Because men are gonna be men. And I'm just gonna leave that comment like that. But it's like, we really jumping off the deep end. I saw back-to-back sundresses. Yo, sundresses can't save everybody. Do you know what sundresses? You know who sundresses are for? Ladies, I'll let y'all congregate on that. You got homegirls in your circle, you need to put them on. Sundresses have requirements. That's my pet peeve. Next, you know, I never do political. I talk about not doing current events. I really never do political. But I'm going to do this one because it was interesting for me. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is looking to hire 10,000 employees, plus lower the age of requirement. Yo, Trump is hilarious. So I don't want to hear you, my younger viewers, that you can't get a job. This is a decent gig right here, trying to kick the foreigners out. I think if I ain't have a gig, I might holler at this. So he wants help that bad, so we can see who belong here and who don't. That's spooky for my non-citizens. You know what I'm saying? So this is advice for different people. One, if you really lack employment and you need a job, this is where it is right here. This might be the gig. You know what I mean? At least you ain't got to lock up your fellow peoples unless you from the islands too. So on my hood, I don't know if you can't have a felony or whatever. The background check may hold for you. But yo, you could go into this. You know, it may sound like I'm joking, but this might be the new gig, man. My 25-year-olds, 20-year-olds, they said they lowered the age, I think, to 18 though. So you could jump in right away out of high school if you don't want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? So that's for y'all. And then for the people who don't got their papers, you better start getting your papers and everything together, because this is a sign that he's coming for real, in case you didn't know. So definitely get your papers straight and try to get legit before they hire and hire. And be just as many of them, as more of them than cops. You feel me? So I wouldn't play with this. But I just thought I'd bring that information up because that was really funny to me. I think of the people struggling out here without a gig, wondering, where's minimum wage at now? Not to act like I'm so much better that I don't know where I come from. I've been in that, I've had 4.72 an hour. Let's not expose age. I've had $5 an hour, 6, 7. I ain't, I finally got my shit together where I didn't know what minimum wage was after it passed like $10, if it was ever that. So what is the minimum wage now? And people who struggling out there with no jobs and, wondering where the next gig, they going online, they filling out applications. You might want to look into ICE. That's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Peace to my island people, them. I don't want them to get y'all. All right, next. You can outgrow your zodiac sign. Ladies, if it was ever important, and maybe the descriptions are set for us to outgrow it, possibly ignore it. So I've met a bunch of people. I've been a big sign zodiac type of guy, which is not the norm. They may even deem it not really masculine to sit here and give energy to the zodiac signs as far as letting it determine how your situations go, who you acquire, and how to handle them. I get it. Some people entertain it a little. Some people think it's ridiculous. It's not for me to sit here and say who's right and who's wrong. But I will touch on it since I am one to give it energy, and I openly admit that. So I'm not going to bash any particular sign today, though. Y'all safe. I gave a moment of silence for y'all safety. So, yeah. So when you hear, I am going to mention a few just for like examples or whatever. So when you hear certain signs, people look it up and, have a description, Leo this, Cancer that, Capricorn this. So like these three, just for example, Aries, these things, they come with a description of how the people may be. Gemini, I guess I could give that as the best example just real quick. They say Gemini is a twin. So, they have multiple personalities or they have like this real craziness and then they have this calmness or whatever, right? So I say that to say, like, even if you think this is ridiculous, to do, I don't know, minimum research to see if it aligns with you, and then you can shut it down if it doesn't. And then for the people who do give energy to this, who do believe in it, you can outgrow it because whatever's said about you, if you put the work in, you can get out of this. Like it doesn't have to claim you, even if you could openly admit, because as much as people might think this is ridiculous, and that's why I said ladies, I feel like fellas, you don't have to use this as a pickup line or for conversation, but I feel like if you tell a lady, ooh, how much battery life is that? I'm not starting over though. Talk to me. How much is that? That's battery saver. Maybe it can last. Sorry. Let me see where it's at. 20? I can make it. Then I gotta plug it in after though. When you size up a female, guys, and they say, you get the sign, the birthday or whatever, and you say, oh, those people is this and that sign is that. They might actually agree with some of the things if you're not just talking shit and, you've heard and you've engaged in this type of conversation numerous times. But I say all of that to say, let's say you do follow this, or let's say how you behave correlates with your sign. You can outgrow it if you knew about it. And you could outgrow it even if you don't know about it. So the moral of the story here is just, I'm saying that whether you believe in it or not, it doesn't have to claim you for your whole life. That's all I'm saying right here. And, maybe you felt like this was a waste because you don't believe in the zodiacs. But for the people that do, I can't be too biased. If I want all walks of life to watch, engage, some people may actually take heed to this. So if you are a big zodiac person, you don't have to let it claim you. And as far as when you selecting partners and engage in friends wise and etc., you don't have to let it claim them either. So you can engage and see how they behave and move. And, it may not have anything to do with their sign. You know what I'm saying? But This was just to point you in a positive direction that it don't have to stay that way, even if it lines up with how they say your sign acts and behaves. You know what I'm saying? Who you're compatible with. That can get outgrown too. You know, so they may say, I don't know, what's the last thing I heard? This is just example. Aries and Virgo, they good. Like those signs go together. I don't mean the people. I'm saying the signs. Like if you're dating each other and no one knows their sign and y'all getting to know each other and y'all didn't get to that birthday point or sign point and it's clicking, and then you find out Aries and Virgos, oh, the Zodiacs hold true. That's just me talking shit. But anyway, I say that to say that could be outgrown. So even if an Aries and a Virgo is supposed to be together, for example, that could get outgrown where that was never the thing, or that passed the stage of where that could have been a thing. And if you want me to go elsewhere, they said who? I think Capricorn and Sag go together or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you can outgrow that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. And you can continue to live life and never indulge in this at all and be like, who the fuck cares? But I'm just saying, like, you can know some of these things and not let it be the outcome and let that really be you for your entire life. So no matter what, I'm giving you an out. You could continue to not care. You could continue to never look into this at all, or you can care a little bit. You can care a lot, and you can still do things to alter what's written about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. Moving nicely. Fight through whatever parent to parent issues you may have and be there for the kids. So from small to tall, meaning I don't know what you got going on. You know, it could have been a relationship and it didn't work. It could have never been a really full-blown relationship. Y'all could have just been lying or bullshitting each other the entire time. It can be all like the worst scenario you could think of. It can be light, but still not work. Whatever the drama is behind adult walls. Easier said than done. And trust me, I would not be sitting here telling you this like I have it peachy, like I've always had it peachy, like I got it peachy. Like you don't know what the fuck's going on. But that's not to draw the attention to me. That's me saying that I come from a place where I could speak on it. So I'm telling you, and I'm going to go fellas first. Be there for the kids the best way you can. Keep the focus at them. Try not to even mention anything in any negative type of light. Try your best, because your kids are not stupid. They can see what's going on. They could check the temperature. You know what I'm saying? So they may ask questions that you can't totally avoid the whole thing, but you give a mature and a non-attack type of response, because it's just like having confidence in life, period, with careers, with dating, with everything. You know if you're solid. You know if you doing what you're supposed to. You know if you can face yourself in the mirror. You know if you can hold your head up high. So there is no need to sugarcoat, alter, or make someone look bad to make you look good. Like there's no need for that. Like it's gonna show regardless. So you fight through these issues and be there for the kids. Now life be lifing. You have your responsibilities. You have your day to day. Now that may stress you, have you agitated. I'm not going to say it don't. So now when you have that, if you also have these parent to parent issues, that may overwhelm you and you can't keep it 100 and all together. I'm not going to say don't interact with the kids, because you can't turn that switch on and off. You have to, somebody told me that too. Shout to that person who gave me that line about you can't switch the off and on. You know, if you have to be there for the kids, you got to be there all the time. You can't like be like, oh, not today, if they need you. That's dope. So, you have to still put things to the side as best you can and say, I'ma handle this. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be small forever. And again, you ain't got to do nothing extra to try to prove yourself. You just be there, supportive, know that they could go to you. Because I feel like, especially today, with parents not staying together in a relationship setting, the more you can take heed to what I'm saying and use this and display this, the kid won't really feel the fact that y'all not together. And you don't have to, again, sugarcoat it, water it down, and paint a pretty picture like like this kid's parents love each other to death. That don't gotta be that, but it's still a respectable energy where it's like we know what our duties are. And that's probably why the issues arise to begin with, because being a parent and being in a relationship does not have to go together. I sound negative. In the regular family structure, traditional family, yes. Man acquires woman, vice versa, but we talking tradition. So man acquires woman. It's called a part of settling down. Y'all become one. Marriage, house, kids, whatever order. So raising of kids, the best format that was taught to us was a family structure. House, marriage, wife, husband, mom, dad. Mom, dad, or wife and husband. This is the pretty picture. Yay, we got a family. Let's raise these kids. You wanted to go that way. That's the traditional way. I'm sorry my energy doesn't reflect that that's exciting, because we rarely see it. We don't see it as much as we should, especially in our community. So we have to eat the fact that that may not be. But we can't be ignorant, naive, all the negative things I could think of as words to display the behaviors I do see with co-parenting these days. It's not the child's fault. Y'all got to be grown up about this. And again, I'm only talking from this. I can only talk about this because I'm there, been there, is there, will be there. I can talk about it. So just chill. I don't know, take your deep breaths. I don't know. If you really lock in, and when you're spending time with your kids, that could distract it positively right there. Just like really lock in. Listen to what they got going on and how they view things in life as a general. Some of the things a little bit outrageous, because what kids like today, you're like so far going from. But you let them speak their piece on it, because it's called expression, and you want them to be able to express themselves. Because they won't have to speak for themselves the older they get. You know what I mean? Try to just lock in on that. Try to find things that y'all can engage in together that kind of brings y'all together. You know what I mean? So it's a give and take. So you're going to have to get your kids prepared. Like, yo, listen, you're going to have to enjoy some of this grown stuff I'm trying to show you. Grown, positive, educational, of course, in any type of way. And then you also give them the shot for them to show you their world. You know what I mean? So it's no manuscript for this shit. There's no cheat code for this. I'm just saying, try to use as much positive energy when engaging and just be there for them, because it's going to be a tough ride, or even tougher ride when you confuse the kids or neglect the kids. And now when they're grown, they don't really know how to interact themselves. And it's a trickle effect. You know what I mean? You pray that your kids do better than you, right? That's the goal. So if both parents could say that, can both parents, regardless of what y'all got going on individually, can y'all both say that the kid's supposed to be better than y'all? Then show them that. Show them that. You gotta hang around winners so your wins don't seem like you're bragging. Because it's so easy to gather to talk negative. And I'm getting tired of it. I'm sorry. For whoever who knows me personally, I'm tired. It's so easy because I got negative shit to talk about. And I'm not saying the people I'm around right now specifically are not winners, but we don't celebrate wins enough. And some of us may not have enough wins to celebrate, but we got to try to get there. So these conversations when we gather, these conversations when we have leisure, whatever we're doing on some chill mode, when it's not the grind, it's got to be about positive talk. It can't always go back to negative, because at some point and somehow it does. Now take the last thing I just talked about, the parent to parent issues. Those are conversations too that we have amongst each other that's negative and draining. It's not a win. So try to look for the wins. And you may have the right people around that they just not reflecting on that. So I'm not going to say dismiss your pack. Don't dismiss your organization per se. But if you can't get this positive side of it, then you may have to. I ain't going to hold you. You may have to. So that's why they said you hang around winners, because you either could bring that out of them, or now you got to change the roster because they don't have it at all. And that includes yourself, and it may start with yourself. But they want you to go around the other way. So that's where we get away from don't seem like you bragging, because your wins, you know what I mean, won't work in correlation with people who aren't winning as well. Copy? All right. Last thing. What do you really want out of life? Do you know? When you have a discussion like this, you may be able to dress it up really nice to say what it is and what you want, but is that really conducive to making your story your legacy? Because we all got similar survival talks, because we all know some of the basic things. You gotta grind, put food on the table, clothes on your back, lights on, some of the basic survival shit. That shouldn't be in this what do you really want out of life, because you got to do that anyway. Now, once you can breathe and get past what you're supposed to be responsible for and do, and you kind of got a handle on that, which may even take, for some people, they still ain't got it. And it's fine. There's no judgment here. But once, if you can even think past that responsibility, now what's left? What do you really want out of life? And this is not something I'm going to give an answer. I'm just going to keep breaking it down to try to help you get to the answer. And hopefully you could comment back later, because even I can't answer this. What do you really want out of life? It's easy to say the things that seem impossible right now, things that seem difficult. Just off those basic things you got to worry about. The bills, grinding, lights, food, clothing. You wish, here go one thing you don't want out of life. That to not stress you. That not to be difficult. That's everybody. This is something I'm asking that separates you from everybody else. Makes you the individual you are. We all should have that. Don't want to stress over bills, stress over lights, stress over food, loved ones, etc. We all wish we could get past that part. And if we do, now you see the individuality of everybody, because now they can really lock in and show what are the things they want out of life. So I capped because I can tell you what I want in a few examples after I get past the responsibility shit that I wish was easier. This podcast I talk to you on, I want this to be a thing. It ain't even about monetary by itself. Of course, I want the money. Send it in. I'm soon on TikTok figuring that out to get bread from them. Yeah, but I want this to reach, really reach. And that's dead ass, an honest thing I want out of life. 2, my music. That as well. I want it to really reach. Yes, I want the money, but I want it to reach. So that's what I want out of life. And everybody else, now I can bring everybody back else in, because there's other people who have those same goals. So it makes the pool a little smaller. It narrows it down a little bit. But now back to things we all obtain. So we all think, kids, we want our kids to be great, right? So with me personally having a child, of course I want what's best for him. And go back to the last topic again. We want our kids to be better than us. So that's something we can all kind of relate to that. And that with the bills and the responsibility I said. So I gave you an example right there. So what do you really want out of life? I'm sure there's probably a few other things I could come up with, but that's, that was just me giving an example. What do you want out of life? Once you get past the basic responsibilities and things that you need to do to survive day to day, your loved ones survive day to day. Step outside of that, because that's really not going anywhere. I can wish for you and pray for you that it's easier, but it doesn't go anywhere. So you can't really have all focus on that and not see other things, because that's what a lot of people spend a lot of their years just about that. And you can see the misery in them. You can see the disgruntled in them, grumpiness. I'm sure I got those days. And it's like, cause that's all there is. Wake up, grind, do it again. Wake up, grind, do it again. Breather, pay bills, grind, do it again. Make sure lights on, food, clothing, do it again, breathe. Yo, it could be training. It is training. But we gotta do it. It's not going anywhere. So now think past that though. What do we want out of life if we actually could think past it and have energy for what that thing is? Can we get to that? Can we start to do that? And no matter how long it takes, like I sit here with you, I don't care how long it takes. It's gonna reach. It's gonna reach. And it brings you sanity, because a lot of the reasons I ain't snap and fucking lose it. And you can take me for a joke if you want. I'm looking dead at you. I ain't joking. The reason, a strong part of the reason I ain't fucking snap and lose it is because I sit here and talk to y'all. This is therapeutic. There's other things behind the scenes that also help a lot, but this is definitely a part of it. So this is why I said I would want the money and I want what's the gain from doing this, but there's more to it. I don't just sit here every week with y'all because I ain't got shit else to do. You understand what I'm saying? So recognize that. And I don't need no praise or no extra love for that. If you don't feel this is something that's interesting for you to watch and sit here and spend time on, because I'm big on that. Didn't I say that? Time is something that has no price. So if you don't sit here through this, you don't. But I'm going to still keep going. I don't care if one is watching or a million. But that's me personally, what I want out of life. So that's me. I want you to do this. What do you really want out of life? You can comment here. You can just reflect on it and just start something based on that reflection. And it could get you started. You can want to do this, but just never really got to it. I applaud it. Get it started. Just put if you have any phone, I told somebody the other day, if you have any smartphone that's 3 years or younger, 3 years or newer, you can use your phone. Get it started. Put that shit on. Now, don't just start chatting. Gather some things like I do. I gather things to talk about. I don't just freestyle. You think you that good? I think once you got a platform, an actual audience, you might could. And even then, I think people are still very organized. Definitely organized and take it serious. If this is something you want people to take you serious, I'm sure there's things I can add and do, and I can ramble on about that. But the moral of the story is this is part of the thing that I want out of life. And what do you want out of life? You hear me? So that's it. So till the next time, you know my 3 Ps. Stay progressive, stay positive, and stay pushing. Peace.